Paper 2, variant 2, October, November 2024. You guys can download this. You guys can take this paper out. This is the most recent paper. A jet ski is a type of boat that carries one or two people and travels at high speed on water. Figure 1.1 shows a student riding on a jet ski. Perfect. This is the direction of movement. Perfect. This is the jet ski. This is the jet of water. Perfect. A high speed jet of water is forced backwards out of the back of the jet ski by a pump inside the jet ski. ठीक है. एक high speed jet of water backward आ रहा है. Okay. The pump increases the momentum of the water that is forced backwards out of the back of the jet ski. ठीक है. Complete the word equation to show the relationship between resultant force on an object and the change in momentum. Beta, what have we studied? We have studied that resultant force is equals to what? Rate of change of momentum. Resultant force is equals to what? Rate of rate of increase, or you can say change of momentum. Simple as that. Let's further move on to the next question. And at any point, beta, at any point, if you have any questions, just raise your hand. I will stop and explain everything again. कहीं पे भी कोई भी small little question हो, फौरन say raise your hand and ask me what your question is. Don't carry on with doubts. ठीक है? In 2 seconds, the pump increases the backward speed of 180 kg of water by 30 ms minus 1. Calculate the backward force exerted on water. So you have to calculate backward force. Force का formula या definition क्या होती है? Change in momentum over change in time. So what is your change in momentum? Mass into change in velocity divided by change in time. What is your mass? 180. What is your change in velocity? 30. What is your change in time? 2. This becomes 1. This becomes 90. Can anyone calculate the answer? And make sure you have a calculator as well. Beta calculator भी please classes में निकाल के रखना. Don't just watch it like a movie. Practical करोगे तो ही you will get more and more good at it. Your force comes out to be 2700 Newton. Make sure you have a calculator. Use Newton's third law of motion. Explain why there is a forward force on the jet ski. Okay. बेटा ये मोमेंटम चेंज करने की वजह से ड्यू टू द चेंज इन मोमेंटम ऑफ दिस बैकवर्ड वाटर देयर इज अ बैकवर्ड फोर्स हियर perfect. Now according to Newton's third law, every reaction has an equal and opposite reaction. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. So backward force का क्या होगा? एक equal and opposite forward force. So you will say, according to Newton's third law, every action has an equal and opposite reaction. So there are a force acting forwards as well. इसको सही तरह term किस तरह करोगे? You will say that the backward force, the backward force is a force that the jet ski exerts on water. Consequently, there will be a forward force. Consequently, there will be a forward force on the jet ski due to the water. बेटा न्यूटन्स थर्ड लॉ क्या कहता है? इफ योर जेट स्की इज अप्लाइंग अ वाटर विल अप्लाई एन इक्वल एंड ऑपोजिट फोर्स ऑन द जेट स्की. तो ये आपने लिखना है. सर कैन वी मेंशन न्यूटन थर्ड लॉ ओनली? नो बेटा, अगर 1 मार्क का सवाल होता तो देन यू कैन ओनली मेंशन न्यूटन थर्ड लॉ, बट सिंस इट इज अ 2 मार्क्स क्वेश्चन यू विल हैव टू एक्सप्लेन व्हाट इज हैपनिंग. You will say, hence, the water exerts an equal and opposite force on the jet ski. On the jet ski that is in the forward direction. That is in the forward direction. Simple, nothing complicated here. The student has a mass of 70 kg and the jet ski has a mass of this. Perfect. Use your answer from part A2 to determine the acceleration of the student and the jet ski when no resistive forces are acting. बेटा हमने resultant force क्या निकाली है? What is their force? 2700. Okay, do you guys remember a simple formula? Do you guys remember a simple formula? F is equals to ma. What is your force? 2700. What is your total mass? 280 plus 70. What will your acceleration come out to be? 2700 divided by 350 is equals to your acceleration. Can any genius calculate the acceleration and tell me by acceleration क्या आ रही है? 7.7 ms minus 2. Also, beta, please remember in examinations you will give your answer either till two significant figures or three significant figures, not more than that. Yes, Duryodhan, your answer is coming out. Beta, your answer will be coming out to be like this. Four significant figures पे कभी भी answer नहीं देना. Either you will give to 2SF or 3SF. Here I have given till 2SF. The jet ski reaches a speed of 20 ms minus 1. Calculate the total kinetic energy of the student and the jet ski at this speed. What is the formula of kinetic energy? Kinetic energy is equal to 1 upon 2 mv square. What is the total mass of the student and jet ski? 70 plus 280. That is 350. What is the velocity of the jet ski? 20 square. Can anyone calculate the kinetic energy by? Kinetic energy comes out to be 70,000 joules. All clear? Yes or no? Beta, is the first question in its entirety clear to all of you? 10 on 10 score kar loge is pe? Give me a thumbs up. If it is clear, give me a thumbs down. If it is not clear, ask me any ambiguities that you have here. Perfect hai, do rather than clear hai. Who else do we have? Hassan beta, is it clear? Um, Ahmed, is it clear? Dia Ahmed, I can't pronounce your name beta correctly. Sorry for that. I hope everything is clear. Perfect. बस थोड़ी थोड़ी देर बाद आई विल बी कीपिंग अ चेक ऑन यू गाइस ताकि ऐसा ना हो कि बिल्कुल ही रैंडमनेस में खो जाओ ठीक है इफ एनीथिंग इज अनक्लियर जस्ट आस्क अवे ओके लेट्स सी दिस a glass beaker of mass m is at rest on a horizontal surface perfect the base of the beaker is a circle with a radius r perfect the beaker exerts the beaker exerts pressure on the horizontal surface perfect determine an expression for the pressure in terms of gravitational field strength M and R. Okay, what a beautiful question do we have here? So we have a beaker that has a circular base area. But what is the formula for pressure? What is the formula for pressure in solids? What is the formula for pressure in solids? Force over area. What will be the force of this beaker? The force of this beaker will be its weight. That is equals to what? Mg. The force of this beaker will be equal to its weight. That is mg. So let's place mg here. What will be your area? Can you realize the area is circular? Can you realize the area is circular? Yes, beta, ask your question. Yep. So the area is a circle. So how will you write the area of a circle? Pi r square. What is your formula for pressure? mg over pi r square. This is your answer for pressure. I don't think there should be any ambiguities here. But you can ask your question. I will explain it out. Okay. Figure 2.1 shows the beaker being filled with a liquid from container X. ठीक है ये beaker fill हो रहा है with a container X. Perfect. Initially the beaker is empty. Perfect. Initially the beaker was empty. Perfect. Figure 2.1 shows the beaker being filled with a liquid from container X. Initially, the beaker is empty. Perfect. At time t is equals to 0, the tap is open and liquid from container X flows slowly into the beaker. Perfect. Flows slowly into the beaker. Perfect. At a constant rate. At time t is equals to capital T, the liquid stops flowing into the beaker. Perfect. So beta time t is equals to 0 पे you have opened up the tap and at time t is equals to capital T the liquid stops flowing into the liquid. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Nothing complicated here. Let's further move ahead. Sketch. Sketch on figure 2.2 to show how the pressure exerted on the horizontal surface varies between time t is equals to 2 and time t is equals to capital 2t. How does your pressure varies between time t is equals to 0 and time t is equals to 2t? So what is happening here? बेटा थोड़ा सा focus करके let's see what is happening here. Let's see what is happening here. If you focus a bit, time t is equals to 0 पे your liquid starts flowing. Time t is equals to 0 पे your liquid, एक second यार, just give me a second. Time t is equals to 0 पे your liquid starts flowing out of the tap, and time t is equals to t पे your liquid stops flowing from the tap. ठीक है? Now you have to draw the pressure variation between time t is equals to 0 till time t is equals to capital 2t. You have to draw the pressure variation between time t is equals to 0 and time t is equals to capital T. ठीक है? Now what will you do? थोड़ा सा सोचो. Just think a bit. As the liquid in the beaker is increasing, the force will increase. Or you can say, as the liquid in the beaker is increasing, the height of the liquid will increase. As the liquid in the beaker is increasing, the height of the liquid will increase. Beta, as the height of the liquid will increase, what is the formula of pressure in liquids? Rho GH. As H increases, your pressure will increase. So what have I said here? थोड़ा सा summarize करते हैं. At time t is equals to 0, you open the tap, and your tap is open till time t is equals to capital T. Throughout this entire time period, as water is collecting into the beaker, your height is increasing. As your height increases, your pressure increases. So what will you do from time t is equals to 0 till time t is equals to capital T? What will you do? You will show an increasing pressure like this, like this. And after, I think I have drawn it till time t is, yeah, let's extend it further. And after, beta, after time t is equals to capital T, what will happen? What will happen after t is equals to capital T? Your pressure will flatten out. Why? Why will your pressure flatten out? Because the height is no longer increasing. Here the height was increasing, here the height is constant. Any ambiguities here in this entire question? Any ambiguities here in this entire question, beta? You can ask me. Yes. जिन्होंने लेट ज्वाइन किया है they can also ask me. कोई भी सवाल हो बेटा, don't hesitate, because these classes are for you to learn. ठीक है? अगर पूछोगे नहीं सवाल तो कभी भी आएगा नहीं. Figure 3.1 shows a laboratory freezer. Perfect. The door is closed and the freezer is switched on. Perfect. The freezer is switched on. A cold liquid is pumped through the copper wire at the top of the freezer. So we have a cold liquid here. ये सारी yellow highlighted जगह पे we have a cold liquid. The temperature of the air next to the copper pipe decreases quickly. Wow. Can anyone analyze which type of a question is this? ये convection का question है बेटा. Temperature of the air in the surrounding is decreasing. This air ka temperature is decreasing. Perfect. Explain how the temperature of the rest of the air in the freezer decreases. You have to describe what? You have to describe convection currents. You have to describe convection current. So first of all, what will you say? As the as the temperature as the temperature of air surrounding the freezer, as the temperature of air surrounding the freezer, or you can say surrounding the copper pipes would be a better word here. As the temperature of air surrounding the copper pipe decreases, the air जब भी बेटा किसी चीज का टेम्परेचर डिक्रीज होता है, व्हाट हैपेंस? द एयर कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स और इट्स वॉल्यूम decreases and its density increases. You will only get one mark for writing this. You will only get one mark for writing this. How will you get the second and third mark? For the second mark, you will say this cold air, this cold air sinks to the ground. This cold air sinks to the ground, to the ground. And hot, less dense air, hot, less dense air rises up to the top. Hot, less dense air rises to the top. And if you are really aiming for an A star, बेटा अगर A star के लिए really aim कर रहे हो, तो last point is something that an A star student will write. You will say this results in the formation of convection currents. Convection currents. ये word देख के examiner will be really happy. Sir, can you explain the concept? Yeah, I will explain the concept. This results in the formation of convection currents, which leads to cooling. To cooling. Simple. अच्छा, what is happening here भाई? जो पाइप के पास सारी एयर है, the air surrounding the pipe gets cooled, it becomes denser and it falls to the ground. It becomes denser and it falls to the ground. बेटा जो पाइप्स के सराउंडिंग में एयर है, when it cools it becomes heavier, it sinks to the ground. तो ग्राउंड से जो मोर लेस डेंस एयर है, वार्मर एयर है, इट राइजेस अप. दिस क्रिएट्स कन्वेक्शन करंट्स and this creates cooling. The thick insulation shown in figure 3.1 is made from a plastic material. Okay, the thick insulation. कहाँ गई भाई thick insulation हमारी? ये रही. It is made from plastic. अच्छा ठीक है. The plastic material in the insulation is a poor thermal conductor. Explain how thermal energy is transferred through plastic material भाई. प्लास्टिक में थर्मल एनर्जी किस तरह ट्रांसफर होती है बेटा? यस, particles vibrate and collide with each other. प्लास्टिक में थर्मल एनर्जी किस तरह ट्रांसफर होती है? पार्टिकल्स vibrate and collide with each other and collide with each other. These collisions result in what? These collisions result in the transfer of energy. These collisions result in the transfer of energy. Perfect. In the transfer of energy. Let's move on to part 2. The plastic material also contains, बेटा this is an FAQ. ये FAQ है, ये FAQ है, ये याद रखना जरूरी है, ये एग्जामिनर का आजकल फेवरेट सवाल हुआ है. The plastic material also contains a number of small air bubbles. भाई प्लास्टिक मटेरियल में बहुत छोटे छोटे एयर बबल्स भी हैं. Explain how the air bubble reduce the transfer of thermal energy through the insulation. सर एफ ए क्यू मीन्स फ्रीक्वेंटली आस्क क्वेश्चन बेटा, फ्रीक्वेंटली आस्क क्वेश्चन. ये वेरिएंट्स के अक्रॉस रिपीट होता रहता है ये सवाल. सो हाउ डू एयर बबल्स रिड्यूस द ट्रांसफर ऑफ थर्मल एनर्जी? बेटा कैन यू गेस दैट एयर इज अ गुड इंसुलेटर? एयर इज अ गुड इंसुलेटर या एयर इज अ बैड कंडक्टर? यू कैन से दैट. You can start your answer like this. Air is a poor conductor of heat. Air is a poor conductor of heat. Hence, it stops or limits processes such as conduction and convection and convection and convection. This reduces thermal energy transfer. Thermal energy transfer. ऑल्सो वन मोर थिंग जो मैं बताना भूल गया था यहाँ पे इन द स्टार्टिंग, दैट दीज एनोटेटेड पास पेपर्स, जो आंसर्स लिख रहा हूँ ना बेटा मैं, वो भी एनोटेटेड पास पेपर्स गूगल ड्राइव पे अपलोड हो जाएंगे, तो यू विल गेट दैट एज वेल। सो डोंट वरी अबाउट ये सर जो लिख रहे हैं वो सर इरेज कर देंगे या कुछ इस तरह से, ठीक है। यू विल गेट दीज एनोटेटेड पास पेपर्स, डोंट वरी अबाउट दैट। बेटा ये सवाल क्लियर है? एनी एम्बिग्विटीज हियर? शुड वी मूव फॉरवर्ड? Figure 4.1 shows a large syringe that is sealed at the nozzle by wax. अच्छा भाई यहाँ पे nozzle जो है वो wax से sealed है. There is a piston inside the syringe. Okay, this is a piston inside the syringe. Perfect. The pressure of the air inside the syringe is equals to atmospheric pressure. Okay. The volume of the air inside the syringe is this. Perfect. So I can say this is my initial volume or initial pressure and initial volume. Perfect. The area of the end of the piston that is in contact with the air is this. Perfect. ये area आ गया मेरा भाई. This is my area. Perfect. The friction between the piston and the syringe is negligible. One more examination trick. देखो examination tricks I will keep on sprinkling them across the uh, I will keep on sprinkling them across the सेशंस, ठीक है। एक और एग्जामिनेशन ट्रिक ये है बेटा कि जब भी एग्जाम में जानी है आपने पेंसिल या हाइलाइटर लेके जाना है, जो भी ऐसी इंपॉर्टेंट चीज लगे यू मार्क दैट, ठीक है। कैलकुलेट द फोर्स ऑन द पिस्टन ड्यू टू द प्रेशर ऑफ द एयर इनसाइड द syringe. Again, which formula will we apply? Pressure is equals to force over area. Are you given the pressure? Yes. Are you given the area? Multiply कर दो बेटा. If you are given the pressure, if you are given the area, multiply both of them. 1 into 10 is the power of 5 multiplied by area, that is 3.5 into 10 is the power of minus 3. What does your force come out to be? Yes, what does your force come out to be? Any genius is in the chat who would like to tell me? Yes, force का क्या आंसर आ रहा है बेटा? Yes, 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 yes. फोर्स का क्या आंसर आ रहा है? एनी वन? एनी जीनियस? कैलकुलेट करो भाई. Up till now, only I was calculating. Calculator में डालो ये क्या आ रहा है आंसर? 350 Newton should be your answer. Let's further move ahead. The force on the piston in A acts to the right. Okay. Examiner कह रहे हैं भाई कि the force on the piston acts towards the right. किस तरह भाई? इस तरह towards the right act कर रही है, ठीक है. Okay. Explain why the piston does not move towards the right. हाँ, very interesting question. Can anyone answer this? Explain why the piston does not move towards the right. Yes. Any ideas, beta? Any ideas? Why does the piston does not move? Ah, yes, 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 yes. Very good. Yep, 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 yep. देखो, if you analyze, there is one problem here. If you analyze, there is one problem here. The force that you are applying here is due to what? It is due to atmospheric pressure. भी atmospheric pressure. और जो फोर्स सिरिंज को इनवर्ड पुश कर रही है बेटा, जो फोर्स सिरिंज को इनवर्ड पुश कर रही है, दैट इज फ्रॉम दिस साइड. द फोर्स दैट इज पुशिंग द सिरिंज इनवर्ड, दैट इज फ्रॉम दिस साइड. दिस फोर्स इज ऑल्सो ड्यू टू द एटमोस्फेरिक प्रेशर. क्योंकि सराउंडिंग में क्या प्रेशर होता है बेटा? एटमोस्फेरिक प्रेशर. So if your pressure of the surrounding creates an inward force and pressure of the surrounding is creating an outward force, तो दोनों कैंसिल आउट हो जाएंगे. लेट मी एक्सप्लेन इट अगेन बेटा. यहाँ पे जो इनवर्ड फोर्स आ रही है, दिस इज ड्यू टू व्हाट? प्रेशर एटमॉस्फेरिक इनटू एरिया. एंड द फोर्स दिस ब्लू फोर्स, ये भी किसकी वजह से है भाई? प्रेशर एटमॉस्फेरिक इनटू एरिया. बोथ फोर्सेस आर सेम, they cancel out, hence the piston doesn't move. इसको लिख लेते हैं भाई. The outward, yeah, you can say there is an inward equal force, equal force due to the surrounding atmospheric pressure. Surround. डोंट वरी, मैं आंसर्स जो भी लिख रहा हूँ बेटा ये सारे आपको एनोटेटेड पास पेपर्स मिल जाएंगे, सिर्फ अपने दिमाग का 100% यहाँ पे फोकस रखो. There is an inward force, inward equal force due to the surrounding atmospheric pressure. Both forces cancel out. Both forces cancel out. Hence, resultant force is equals to 0 Newton. Perfect. Any ambiguities here? The piston is now pulled towards the right by an additional force. Okay, piston को हमने एक rightward force provide की है. यहाँ पे you have provided a rightward force to the piston. Perfect. Let's see भाई क्या लिखा हुआ है आगे. The temperature of the air in the syringe does not change. Now again an examination trick. बेटा यहाँ पे एक और एग्जामिनेशन ट्रिक सुन लो, बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट है, बहुत 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 इंपॉर्टेंट है. जब भी एग्जामिनर, वेन एवर द एग्जामिनर सेज टेम्परेचर इज कांस्टेंट, लिखना है तो लिख लो, दिस इज एन एग्जामिनेशन ट्रिक. वेन एवर द एग्जामिनर सेज टेम्परेचर इज कांस्टेंट एंड in the above question he is talking about pressure and volume. बेटा जब भी एग्जामिनर स्टेट्स के टेम्परेचर इज कांस्टेंट एंड ही इज टॉकिंग अबाउट प्रेशर एंड वॉल्यूम, समझ जाना दिस इज एन हिंट टूवर्ड्स Boyle's law. If the examiner is talking about pressure and volume and he is stating that temperature is constant, समझ जाना he is hinting towards Boyle's law. ठीक है. So let's further see what the examiner tries to ask us. Explain in terms of particles why the pressure of the air in this range decreases. Okay. As you move the syringe outward, बेटा अगर syringe को आप outward move करोगे तो what will happen? If you move the syringe outward, the volume of the gas increases. First of all तो ये लिख लेते हैं मैं नीचे जाके. फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल वी राइट दिस हेयर. 3 मार्क्स का सवाल है, 3 मार्क्स के सवाल में थोड़ा सा यू हैव टू मेक श्योर कि भाई इंसानों की तरह जवाब देना है. यू हैव टू गिव एवरी लिटिल पॉइंट हेयर. फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल यू विल से वॉल्यूम ऑफ द गैस या ऑफ द एयर increases. Okay. As the volume increases, what will happen? Beta, as the volume increases, what do you think will happen? Any ideas? Yes. Volume increase होगा तो क्या होगा? Any ideas, any geniuses? Particles move away from each other. As the molecules move away from each other, the particles move away from each other. क्या किसी का कोई आया था? Molecules get distant. हाँ प्रेशर, देखो ये यहाँ पे वेरी बिग एरर हियर. देखो एक स्टूडेंट ने हमें कहा है सर डायरेक्ट प्रेशर डिक्रीजेस लिखने. नो बेटा नो. 3 मार्क्स का सवाल है. व्हाट हैव आई टोल्ड यू हैव टू एटलीस्ट गिव 3 पॉइंट्स. As the volume increases, molecules move away from each other. Molecules move away from each other. What happens next? As the molecules move away from each other, what happens next? They collide less frequently with the piston. They collide, hence, they collide less frequently with the walls of the piston. With the walls of the piston. And hence less frequently collide करेंगे with the walls of piston, फिर क्या होगा? Your pressure decreases. देख रहे हो कितना सलीके से, कितना तमीज से आंसर लिखा है. Yep, very good, very good. This is a perfect answer. Less particles per unit area. Yes, you can say that as well. Yes, you can say that as well. दूरे अदन ये देखो, a very major error भाई, very major error. One student has told me, sir, less kinetic energy. One student has told me less kinetic energy. Can anyone tell me why this would be a wrong thing to say here? Can anyone tell me why this will be a wrong thing to say here? because the temperature is remaining constant. This will be completely, utterly wrong. Temperature is directly proportional to kinetic energy. If temperature remains constant, your kinetic energy will remain constant. Temperature वाली बात please यहाँ पे नहीं लिखना. Now let's see this. Calculate the pressure of the air inside the syringe when the volume of the air is this. You have to apply Boyle's law. P1 V1 is equals to P2 V2. What was your pressure 1? What was your pressure 1? 1 into 10 is the power of 5 by 1 into 10 is the power of 5. Substitute कर दो यहाँ पे. What was your volume 1? 1.5 into 10 is the power of minus 4. What was your pressure 2? Sorry. What was your volume 1? What was your volume 1? I guess volume 1 क्या था? 1.2 into 10 is the power of minus 4. Yes. 1.2 into 10 is the power of minus 4. What is your volume 2? 1.5 into 10 is the power of minus 4. Can you calculate P2? Yes. 10 is the power of minus 4, 10 is the power of minus 4. यहाँ से cut 1 into 10 is the power of 5 into 1.2 divided by 1.5 gives you your pressure 2. That comes out to be what? Can anyone with a reasonable enough calculator calculate this? Pressure comes out to be 8 into 10 is the power of 4 pascals. Any ambiguities here? Very good, Smile. Very good, Shabash. Kinetic energy is related to temperature. Very good. Some classes are converging lens and other are diverging lens. Draw the cross section of a diverging lens. Okay, बस चलो. Draw the cross section of a diverging lens. भाई diverging lens किस तरह बनेगा? Somewhat like this. This is your diverging lens. You get a one-on-one here. Let's further move ahead. Figure 5.1 shows the cross section of a converging lens, the principal axis, and the two principal focuses f1 and f2 on a full scale grid. Perfect. So basically, you have a cross sectional area of converging lens, the principal axis, and two principal focal points f1 and f2 on the full grid. Perfect. A student places an object of height 2.1 centimeter at a distance of 3 centimeter from the center of the lens. Perfect. Determine the focal length of the lens. Okay. You have to determine the focal length of the lens. Okay, so what is the focal length, beta? Focal length किस तरह निकालते हैं? First of all, to calculate focal length, just observe here. What is this? This is telling you the scale. That means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 small boxes represent 1 centimeter. This is being told here. By this, we know that 5 small boxes represent 1 centimeter. Simple as that. Nothing complicated here. भाई कोई complicated बात नहीं की इधर. Okay. So first of all, this is your center of the lens. The center of the lens is known as optical center. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1 centimeter. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. That is 1.8 centimeter. So focal length is what? Distance from the optical center to the focal point. 1.8 centimeter is your answer. यहाँ पे क्या लिखोगे बेटा? 1.8 centimeter. You will write 1.8 centimeter. Centimeter is already written, so you don't have to repeat the unit again. On figure 5.1, draw a vertical arrow of height 2.1 centimeter, that is 3 centimeter from the center of the lens, and label the arrow O. The arrow is your object. Okay, so we have to draw a height of 2.1 centimeter at a distance of 3 centimeter. Let's draw that. So first of all, तो भाई distance of 3 centimeter देख लेते हैं. 1 second. This will be what? 2 centimeter. भाई ये 2 centimeter हो गया. This is 3 centimeter. And height of 2.1. So 2.1 की height will be this. This is your object. Let's mark an arrow here. Let's mark an arrow like this here. This is your object. Perfect. This is your object at a height of 2.1 centimeter at a distance of 3 centimeter away from the lens. Perfect. Now draw. Now draw two rays from the tip of the object to find the tip of the image. Draw another arrow to show the image. Basically, Now, to put it simply, you have to draw the image. बेटा image किस तरह draw करोगे? How will you draw the image? Very, very easy. Very easy. You will, first of all, now listen this carefully. ठीक है? First of all, listen this carefully. जब भी you have to make an image, you make a ray from the object through the optical center. Whenever you have to make an image, first ray आप कहाँ से बनाते हो? From the object through the optical center. And one from the head of the object. Very good. Very good, Duryodhan. And one from the head of the object. This will be from the head of the object and somewhat like this. ये कुछ इस तरह. Somewhat along these lines. And this second ray is parallel to the principal axis. Beta, now please, 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 I need your undivided attention. Any ray that is parallel to the principal axis and hits the lens will pass through what? Will pass through the focal point. Let me make it correctly. Will pass through the focal point like this. ठीक हो गया. This is your focal point से pass होती हुई. All clear up till now? Do you get it? That your image is being formed here. Your image is getting formed here. So let's draw an arrow as well, bhai. Let's draw an arrow for the image as well. Let me zoom in so that you guys have a crystal clear idea of what am I doing. This will be your image. Oh, why is my arrow inverted? I think I should draw it from here. Yep. This is your image. Perfect. Use the image marked on figure 5.1. Okay, now you have to use the image marked in figure 5.1 in B3 to determine the linear magnification. Now, linear magnification has a formula. Linear magnification has a formula. What is the formula of linear magnification? Image height, image height, image height divided by the object height. Image height divided by the object height is the formula of linear magnification. बेटा इमेज की हाइट आप कैसे कैलकुलेट कर सकते हो? यू जस्ट कम हेयर, zoom in a bit, count the number of boxes again. 1 2 3 4 5 1 centimeter. 1 2 3 4 5 1 centimeter. 1 2 3 4 5 1 centimeter. 1 and 2. So the image height is 3.2 centimeter. The height of the image is 3.2 centimeter. And the object height is 2.1. Can any genius in the chat calculate the linear magnification for me? Can any genius in the chat calculate the linear magnification for me, bhai? The linear magnification comes out to be 1.5. The linear magnification comes out to be 1.5. Okay, let's zoom out a bit. Let's do this one as well. Explain whether the image of the object is real or virtual. Yes. Is the image real or virtual? Anyone? The image is real. The image is real as it is formed by a converging lens. Is everything clear to you guys? Beta, is everything crystal clear? Yes or no? Let's see this. Figure 6.1, okay, shows the circuit symbol for a relay and two labeled terminals, okay. So you have a relay and two labeled terminals, perfect. By referring to figure 6.1, explain the effect of current passing from A to B. Okay. What will be the effect of current passing from A to B? Hmm. What will be the effect of current passing from A to B? Yes. Any idea? If the current passes through A, if the current passes from A to B, what will happen? If the current passes from A to B, this magnetic coil will generate a magnetic field, or you can say this coil will get magnetized. As this coil gets magnetized, it will attract the relay switch, and the relay switch will close down. So, what has happened? As the current passes through, as the current passes through A to B, what happens? The magnetic coil gets magnetized. As the magnetic coil gets magnetized, it attracts the relay switch, closing the relay switch. So, you can write it here as current passes through the coil or through A to B, the coil gets magnetized, gets magnetized. And what is the second point that you will write here? The coil gets magnetized. What is the second point you will write here? The relay switch. The relay switch gets attracted, gets attracted, and it is closed. Simple as that. Nothing complicated here. Let's further move ahead. On figure 6.2, figure 6.2 shows two circuits linked by a relay. Okay, so these are two circuits linked by a relay. The heater transfers energy at a rate of 40 volts when it is connected to a 12 volts power supply. Perfect. So heater has a power of what? 40 volts. What is the battery supply? 12. Perfect. Switch S is closed. Okay, so this switch is closed. Perfect. बेटा ये switch हम close कर रहे हैं. We are closing this switch. Perfect. The variable resistor is adjusted so that its resistance is increased from 0. So you are increasing the resistance of the variable resistor. Perfect. थोड़ा सा complicated electric circuit है. Please listen carefully. Figure 6.3 shows how the power transferred in the 40-volt heater varies as R increases from 0. Okay. How the power in the heater varies as you vary the variable resistor key resistance. Okay. What is your question? Bhai, ask away. So actually what is happening? You are increasing the resistance of the variable resistor and you are seeing how the power of the heater is varying. Beta, you can write your question in the chat. I will reply it. उसके बाद हम आगे continue करते हैं. Figure 6.3 shows how the power transferred in the 40-volt heater varies as R increases from 0. Perfect. The graph shows a steep decrease when resistance R reaches the resistance of the heater. Okay, हो क्या रहा है भाई? What is happening? You keep on increasing the resistance of the variable resistor. And when the resistance of the variable resistor is equals to the resistance of the heater, the power declines sharply to 0 volts. Later you can ask your question in the chat if you have any. Explain the shape of the graph in figure 6.3. You have to explain the shape of this graph in figure 6.3. So, what will we say here? क्या कहेंगे हम यहाँ पे? Yes, yes. What is happening here? Yes, any geniuses in the chat who would like to answer this? Hmm. बेटा बहुत ही easy सवाल है. You just have to apply some logic. You just have to apply some logic. Hmm. Yes. चलो, let me answer it. देखो, initially, the resistance of the variable resistor was 0. The resistance of the variable resistor initially was 0. There was a large amount of current flowing in this circuit. Beta, there was a large amount of current flowing in this circuit. If there is a large amount of current flowing in this circuit, this would have magnetized. This would have magnetized. और अगर ये मैग्नेटाइज्ड हो जाता बेटा तो रिले का स्विच क्लोज हो जाता. If this would have magnetized, the relay switch would have closed. Perfect. So first of all, you understand कि जब resistance zero थी, this would have magnetized due to a large flow of current, the relay switch would have closed. But now when you have started to increase your resistance to a large value, what happens? Your current across the circuit drops. Your current across this circuit becomes low. As your current across this circuit becomes low, what happens to this magnet? It has a lesser magnetic field. It has a lesser magnetic field. If it has a lesser magnetic field, it will not attract the relay and the switch will not close. Hence, the heater will receive a power of zero. Beta, is this entire process clear to you guys? Yes. ये process clear हुआ है? Yes or no? If I make it more evident by doing it with different colors, chalo. Let's do it with different colors. In the start, you have a resistance of zero. Okay, the current across this yellow circuit will be quite a lot. Current is high. If the current is high, this magnetic coil will get magnetized. Magnetized. As this magnetic coil get magnetized, it attracts the switch. Attracts switch, or you can say relay. And due to this, if this switch or relay gets closed, what will happen? Just like here, this relay switch gets closed when this magnetic coil is magnetized. As this switch gets closed, current flows in this circuit. But now let's assume your resistance is quite high. Your current across the yellow resistor, yeah, across the yellow circuit will be low. This blue magnet will not be magnetized, or lesser magnetism, lesser magnetic field. Hence, it does not attract this relay switch, cannot cause the relay switch to close. Hence, there is zero current flow in this circuit, hence the power drops to zero. अब बात समझ आई? Yes or no? Yes. चलो, now let's write it. Let's write this. Explain the shape of this graph. So first of all, what will you say? You will say initially, acha, this is a 3 marker question. You have to write it in a neat manner. And everything has to be written. Initially, the current in the coil is large. Initially, the current in the coil is large. Perfect. Initially, the current in the coil is large. ठीक है. Now, if the current in the coil is large, what will happen? If the current in the coil is large, what will happen? Initially, the current in the coil is large. This will cause what? This will cause, this causes the coil to be magnetized and attracts the switch. Now you will write the second thing. You will say as resistance increases, the current decreases. And as the current decreases, क्या होगा भाई? As the current decreases, magnetic field of coil also decreases. And as the magnetic field of coil decreases, a relay switch cannot be closed, or you can say it remains open. It remains open. Perfect. This is how you write your answer in a neat and clean manner. थोड़ा तमीज से how you write your answer. This is the way to write your answers. ठीक है? Now, let's further move ahead. Let's look what we have to do in the next part. चलो भाई, next part को देखते हैं. Let's see the next part. What is written in the next part? Please analyze everyone. Next part बहुत easy है. Next part is literally very easy, the easiest of them all. So, a 40 volts heater connected to a 12 volt power supply is switched on. Perfect. It is switched on. Calculate the energy transferred in the heater in 2 minutes. We have to calculate the energy transferred in the heater in 2 minutes. So how will we calculate the energy? Energy is equals to power into time. What is your power? 40. What is your time? 2 minutes. We will convert minutes into seconds. The energy comes out to be what, beta? Energy comes out to be 4800 joules. Perfect. Now you have to calculate the resistance of the heater. How can you calculate the resistance of the heater? Again, pretty easy. Now you have to calculate the resistance of the heater. How can you calculate the resistance of the heater? Do you remember this formula? Power is equals to V square over R. What is the power? 40. What is the voltage? 12 curve square. What will your resistance come out to be? 144 divided by 40. Your resistance comes out to be what? 3.6 ohms is your answer for resistance. Is it clear? Part C clear है भाई सबको? Now let's see this. The frequency of an alternating mains electricity supply is 50 hertz. Perfect. The maximum voltage is 300 volts. Perfect. Use the axis in figure 5.1 to sketch a graph to show how the voltage of the supply varies in a time of zero point 0.5 seconds. Perfect. So you are given the frequency. You are given the frequency. Can you calculate the time period? Yes, frequency is 50 hertz. What will your time period T be? 1 over 50. Your time period comes out to be what? Let's calculate that. 1 divided by 50. This comes out to be 0.02 seconds. Your time period is 0.02 seconds. That means within 0.02 seconds, one wave will be completed. What is your maximum voltage? 300 volts. What is your maximum voltage? 300 volts. So what can you do now? You can make a sinusoidal curve with a maximum voltage at 300, then 0 at 0.01, then negative 300 at 0.015, and you can draw a curve like this. Your maximum voltage occurs at 300, your minimum at negative 300. What is your time period or time taken to complete one wave? 0.02 seconds. What is your time taken to complete one wave? 0.02 seconds. Perfect. Now, what do you have to do? You have to replicate this wave for 0.05 seconds. Let's draw it. Let's draw it. Somewhat like this, and like this. Oh, we have to draw a sine wave. Sorry for that. Somewhat like this. Yeah, like this. Probably you can draw better drawing than me with a pencil. The one thing that you need to take care of is the maximum voltage should be at 300, the minimum voltage should be at negative 300, and one wave should get completed in 0.02 seconds. One wave should get completed in how many seconds? 0.02 seconds. Simple as that. Nothing complicated here. Chalo. Let's further move ahead. If this is clear, let's further move ahead. If you have any questions, you may ask. Figure 7.2 shows the power main supply connected to the primary coil of a transformer. Okay, so now we have a transformer. The primary coil consists of 750 turns perfect. So basically, this has 750 turns. The core of the transformer is made from iron perfect. Explain why iron is a suitable material for the core of the transformer. Why is iron a suitable material for the core of the transformer? Because iron is a temporary magnet. It can get magnetized easily because iron is a temporary magnet. Perfect. Let's move ahead. Explain why there is a voltage across the secondary coil. What a beautiful question. Explain why there is a voltage across this secondary coil. भाई secondary coil के across voltage क्यों है? We have to tell this. Hmm. Any geniuses who would like to answer this? What actually happens in a transformer भाई? Transformer में actually होता क्या है? Does anyone remember? What happens in a transformer? Hmm. The alternating current in the primary coil. Can you see the alternating current in the primary coil will generate magnetic field lines. The alternating current in the primary coil will generate magnetic field lines. These magnetic field lines cut with the secondary coil. These magnetic field lines cut with the secondary coil. And as they cut with the secondary coil, they produce voltage in the secondary coil. Let me repeat it. The current in the primary coil generates magnetic field lines in the primary coil. These magnetic field lines cut with the secondary coil. As they cut with the secondary coil, voltage is induced in the secondary coil. So you can write it here. You can write it here. The alternating current, the alternating current in the primary coil generates magnetic field lines. These field lines cut with the secondary coil, generating induced EMF or voltage. Perfect. Generating induced EMF or voltage. Simple as that. Nothing complicated here. चल let's further move ahead. ये भी किसी को clear नहीं होता तो do ask me again. There are 60 turns on the coil. Okay, there are 60 turns on the coil. Calculate the maximum value of voltage across the secondary coil. Okay, there are 60 turns on the secondary coil. What were the number of turns on the primary coil? 750. Number of turns on the secondary coil is 60. Okay, what was the voltage across the primary coil? The voltage across the primary coil is 300. Okay, we have literally everything. The voltage across the primary coil is 300. The number of turns across the primary coil are 750. The number of turns across the secondary coil is 60. You have to calculate the voltage across the secondary coil. Which formula are we going to apply? बेटा कौन सा formula लगेगा यहाँ पे? Do you remember? Transformer had this formula. NP over NS is equals to VP over VS. What are the number of turns of primary coil? 750. What are the number of turns of secondary coil? 60. What are the primary voltage? 300. What is the secondary voltage? VS. Can you calculate VS? Yes. 0, 0 cancel out. Vs comes out to be what? 300 into 6 divided by 75. Let's calculate it divided by 75. This comes out to be 24 volts as your answer. Are there any confusions in this entire question, bhai? Are there any confusions in this entire question? Are there any confusions in this entire question? The isotope thorium 230 90 decays by alpha particle emission. Okay, so this isotope decays by alpha particle emission. Describe the composition of an alpha particle. Okay, what is the composition of an alpha particle? An alpha particle contains two protons and two neutrons. An alpha particle contains two protons and two neutrons. Perfect. State the name of the particle that is identical to an alpha particle. Wait, which particle is identical to an alpha particle? A helium nucleus. A helium nucleus. Simple as that. These are very simple मार्क्स की गेनिंग क्वेश्चंस बेटा इन सवालों में आपके मार्क्स पूरे आने चाहिए दीज आर वेरी वेरी सिंपल क्वेश्चंस The alpha decay of thorium 230 produces an isotope of radium. Perfect. Reduce the number of neutrons in a neutral atom of this isotope of radium. Okay. So this is your thorium atom. Perfect. Let's say this is like this. If it is undergoing alpha decay, your mass number decreases by 4. It becomes 2 to 6. Proton number decreases by 2. It becomes radium Ra. Can you calculate the number of neutrons in this atom? Yes. The mass number, that is 226 minus 88, that is the proton number. बेटा हमेशा याद रखना mass number divided by proton number will give you your number of neutrons, 138 in this case. Now you have to calculate the number of electrons in a neutral atom of this isotope. Can you realize that in a neutral atom, the number of electrons will be equal to the number of protons? बेटा number of protons कितने 88. The number of electrons कितने हो जाएंगे 88. Nothing complicated. Literally, this सवाल was to make you achieve an A grade. बहुत easy सवाल था. Let's see this. The half-life of thorium 230 is 75,000 years. By half-life of thorium is 75,000 years. A radioactive sample contains this amount of thorium atoms. Perfect. Determine the time it takes for the number of thorium atoms to decrease to this value. Okay. So let's start applying half-lives. The initial number of atoms is 7.2 into 10 raised to the power of 16. After one half-life, they will half. बेटा after one half-life ये आधे हो जाएंगे. This will become 3.6 into 10 raised to the power of 16. After another half-life, ये और आधे हो जाएंगे. 1.8 into 10 raised to the power of 16. After another half-life, ये और आधे हो जाएंगे बेटा 0.9 into 10 raised to the power of 16. And if you realize 0.9 into 10 raised to the power of 16 is what? Same as 9 into 10 raised to the power of 15. So how many half-lives बेटा कितनी half-lives elapse हुई हैं 1 2 3. एक half-life का कितना टाइम था 75,000 years. थ्री हाफ लाइफ्स का कितना टाइम होगा? 75,000 इंटू थ्री, दिस कम्स आउट टू बी व्हाट? यस, एनी जीनियसेस? 2.25 into 10 raised to the power of 5 years. Simple as that, literally nothing complicated. इससे इजी सवाल एग्जामिनर नहीं दे सकता बेटा आपको एग्जामिनेशन में. लेट्स वेट देन मूव अहेड. ओके, लेट्स सी दिस. व्हेन इट डिकेज, अच्छा, व्हेन इट डिकेज, एक सेकंड, लेट मी सी. What if we don't write in a standard form? No problem about that. You can write it without a standard form as well. The examiner will still give you marks. When it decays, thorium 230 also emits gamma radiations. Okay. बेटा जब decay होता है, it also emits gamma radiations. Figure 8.1 shows a narrow beam of gamma radiations passing into an electric field. On figure 8.1, sketch the path of gamma radiations in the electric field. Now, if you remember, gamma radiations were uncharged. Gamma radiations were uncharged, so they will pass undeflected. They will pass in a straight line in an electric field. Beta, gamma radiations uncharged say that's why they will pass undeflected in an electric field. Let's see this as well. Figure 8.2 shows the electric field replaced with a magnetic field that is directed into the page. On figure 8.2, sketch the graph of gamma radiation in the magnetic field. Again, gamma radiation will pass undeflected. Why? Because gamma radiations have no mass as well. बेटा गामा रेडिएशंस का ना ही मास होता है ना ही चार्ज होता है. Hence they pass undeflected in an electric field and in a magnetic field. All clear in this question as well. क्वेश्चन 9 पे बढ़ते हैं. ओके, लेट्स सी दिस. दिस इज एन इंटरेस्टिंग वन. दिस लुक्स इंटरेस्टिंग. वी हैव एन अर्थ की डायग्राम हियर एज वेल. द अर्थ हैज अ रेडियस ऑफ दिस, रोटेट्स ऑन इट्स एक्सिस वंस एवरी 24 आवर्स. ठीक है, अर्थ का रेडियस ये है. द टाइम पीरियड फॉर रोटेशन अबाउट इट एक्सिस इज 24 आवर्स. फिगर 9.1 shows that as the earth rotates, the object on the surface of the earth move in circular paths around the axis of rotation. Perfect. Perfect. Calculate the speed of an object at the equator as it moves in a circular path around the axis of rotation. What do we have to calculate? We have to calculate the orbital speed. We have to calculate the orbital speed. V is equals to 2 pi r over time period. बेटा अर्थ का रेडियस क्या है? What is the radius of the earth? 6.4 into 10 raised to the power of 6. Perfect. 6.4 into 10 raised to the power of 6. What is the time period? 24 hours. You will convert it into seconds. 24 into 60 into 60. What does your answer for velocity comes out to be? 470 ms minus 1. Your answer for velocity comes out to be 470 ms minus 1. Perfect. Let's further move ahead. Explain why the speed around the axis of rotation of an object on the earth decreases as the distance of the object from the equator increases. देखो बेटा क्या लिखा हुआ है. Just focus a bit. Why the speed around the axis of rotation of an earth decreases as the distance from the earth increases. बेटा डिस्टेंस इंक्रीज करने से why does the speed, yes, why does the speed increases? स्पीड डिक्रीज क्यों हो रही है as you increase the distance from the equator? Why does the speed decreases as you increase the distance from the equator? Yes, any answers? Any answers? Any answers? बेटा सवाल की समझ भी आई है, सवाल की समझ भी आई है. व्हाट इज द एग्जामिनर ट्राइंग टू आस्क? नो 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 नो, एक सेकंड एक सेकंड. Examiner is saying that let's say पहले आप यहाँ पे थे कहीं, पहले you were orbiting around this orbit. Now you are orbiting somewhere down here. Now you are orbiting at point B. As your distance from the equator increases, your speed decreases. Why is that the case? If you realize the answer lies in this formula, V is equals to 2 pi r over T. Do you realize that this 2 pi r over T will be a constant? Do you realize that this 2 pi r over T will be a constant? Why? Because even if you are at the blue point, आपका time period of the entire rotation will remain 24 hours. Okay. So that means I can write it like this. Velocity is directly proportional to radius. Perfect. Now, as the distance from the equator increases, बेटा अगर आप इक्वेटर के ऊपर चले जाओ समवेयर हेयर या इक्वेटर के नीचे आ जाओ समवेयर हेयर बी एट पॉइंट बी इन आइदर सिनेरियो योर रेडियस इज डिक्रीजिंग योर वेलोसिटी विल डिक्रीज लेट्स राइट इट इन अ नीट एंड क्लियर फॉर्मेट पहले मुझे ये बताओ डू यू अंडरस्टैंड इट डू यू अंडरस्टैंड इट व्हाट विल यू से नो यू डोंट अंडरस्टैंड इट वेरी गुड चलो लेट्स सी हियर ठीक है फॉर दिस आई थिंक आई विल नीड टू ड्रॉ अ स्फीयर भाई इसके लिए हमें एक स्फीयर बनाना पड़ेगा लेट्स ड्रॉ अ स्फीयर या लेट्स से दिस इज अ स्फीयर दिस इज योर इक्वेटर ठीक है लेट्स से दिस इज योर पॉइंट ए इनिशियली योर रेडियस इज दिस इफ यू मूव आइदर टू द टॉप अगर पॉइंट बी पे चले जाते हो और पॉइंट सी पे चले जाते हो can you realize that in a sphere these distances will be less अब 3D object यहाँ पे मैं let me bring a sphere here one second a sphere one second just give me a second yeah here we have it one second it wouldn't be visible in a circle but in a sphere it will be clearly visible beta in a sphere if you are at this point your radius will be this thing perfect. Now let's say either you are at the top at point B or you are at the bottom at point C. Can you realize your distance has decreased? Can you realize your distance or radius has decreased? Yes or no? To the one who to the one जिसको clear नहीं था. Do you realize the radius has decreased? If your radius has decreased, you have just agreed with me that radius is directly proportional to velocity. You can also visualize it like this beta if you move around a circle like this is this a bigger circle or is the red one a bigger circle obviously the red one is a bigger circle so what will you say here as you move as you move away from equator your radius decreases or in other words what you say you can say circumference decreases circumference decreases. And if the circumference decreases, what will happen? The velocity or the speed, you can say, of rotation decreases. All clear. This was a tricky question. Is this clear to you guys? Earth moves around the sun because a force acts on the earth. Perfect. State what provides this force, भाई अर्थ जो है वो सन के अराउंड रोटेट कर रहा है ओके व्हाट प्रोवाइड्स दिस फोर्स वेरी वेरी इजी gravitational attraction due to the sun You can say gravitational force of attraction due to the sun. The orbit of the earth around the sun is an ellipse. ठीक है, orbit of the earth around the sun is an ellipse. Perfect. Describe what happens to the magnitude of the force that acts on the earth as it moves in an elliptical orbit. Wow, what a beautiful question. Beta, if you are moving in a circle, chalo, when let's draw it. Let's draw it. Usually, we have studied कि अर्थ इस तरह से है, sun is in the middle, and your earth rotates in a circular orbit like this. Perfect. Circular orbit में rotate करता है earth. Actually, I have drawn an elliptical orbit here. Sorry, my bad. Let's draw a circular orbit. We have studied that earth rotates around the sun in a circular orbit. That means what? Okay, the same amount of force will be acting everywhere on earth. Same amount of force will be acting everywhere on earth since it is a circular orbit. But in reality, but in reality, but in reality, okay, no problem, no problem. तभी मैं शुरू से समझा रहा हूँ बेटा, तभी मैं शुरू से यहाँ पे समझा रहा हूँ. But in reality, what happens? The earth is orbiting in an elliptical orbit like this. The points where the earth is far away from the sun, the force is less. And the points where the earth is closer to the sun, the force is greater. You can write this in a circular orbit. In a circular orbit, the magnitude of force remains same. However, in an elliptical orbit, in an elliptical orbit, magnitude of force changes. It increases when sun move when earth sorry it increases when earth moves towards the sun and decreases when earth moves away from the sun. Simple. Explain why the earth travels the slowest when it is the furthest distance from the sun. बेटा ये तो बहुत ही इजी सवाल है. बहुत ही इजी सवाल है. Why the earth travels the slowest when it is the furthest away from the sun? Hmm. Because when the earth is furthest away from the sun, the gravitational forces of attraction due to sun are less. Hence, your gravitational potential energy is less. Hence, hence your gravitational potential energy is greater, resulting in a lower kinetic energy. resulting in a lower kinetic energy. Let's further move ahead.